Is Odin really Santa Claus? Our friend Nick from Epic Realms asked this question on his live stream, but every year we always hear this question, and every year there's a ton of different answers. So let's get the definitive answer right now. And the only way to do that is to go to the ancient sources. And the ancient sources say, First we need to talk about Yule and the celebration of Yule and how Odin is linked with it. Odin is considered to be the god of many names, and one of those names is Yolnir. This word means Yule god in Old Norse, but what Yule means we actually don't know. In the prose edit, it said that Odin came flying through the night to look down on people and collect the souls of those who had died the year before. Problem number one is he does this with the Wild Hunt, and number two, he does this with other beings. Yolnir means Yule beings as well. Some traditions say that Odin required sacrifice, others say that he wore a blue robe with fur trim. Over time, however, Odin got separated from the Wild Hunt, and the Wild Hunt remained a tradition in certain other countries, like Slavic countries. As well, according to Norse sources like Snorri, Yule was originally in January, so there was no immediate overlap with the days of Christmas. When we think of other Germanic peoples, many people think of the Anglo-Saxons, so let's see what they did for Yule. Wait, they didn't have Yule. They had Modranid, which was Mother's Night. According to the Venerable Bede, Saxons celebrated Modranid around the time of Christmas, not the time of Yule. But some sources say they did have a figure named Father Time who would be invited to the house for a drink. It is interesting to note, however, that Woden, their counterpart to Odin, is not mentioned in any of this. Over time, obviously, in the Nordic countries, Yule changed place with Christmas, and now Yule is the word that is used for Christmas. And Odin, over time, has kind of disappeared. In Iceland, you now have Groila and the Yule lads and the Christmas cat. In Sweden, there's the Yule goat. And in Finland, there's Joulupukki, which also means Yule goat. All of these figures operate completely differently to how Odin worked at Yule, so let's take a look at other countries. In Russia, he became Dead Moros, who's a Christmas wizard, Poland, his grandfather Frost, and in Siberia, there are 6 winter figures. About that Christmas goat, though, it is worth mentioning that Odin was never associated with goats. Some sources claim that the Christmas goat has to do with Thor. Other sources believe that it might be from an earlier harvest festival. So what about this Saxon Father Time figure, then? Some claim he might have something to do with the Romans and Saturnalia, therefore being the personification of Kronos. But others called Father Time King Winter. But whether King Winter was the same as the Yule or Yolnir, we don't actually know because they didn't function in the same way. King Winter was invited into the home and was not associated with gifts. However, gift-giving did happen on the Roman calends, which is January the 1st. Some people claim that kissing under the mistletoe has to do with Norse mythology, but this is not true. While mistletoe is mentioned in many of the sagas, it has no connection to Yule whatsoever. Mistletoe was important to Druids, however, but only as it grew on oak trees. The use of mistletoe doesn't even show up in Tudor Christmases, which are very well documented. However, Father Christmas does. During the time of Henry VIII, a man in a green outfit was said to have come around court and give presents to children, but the figure with the official title of Father Christmas was invented in Cromwell's time. But wait, I hear you say, what about St. Nicholas? St. Nicholas Day falls even farther away from the original Yule. It's on December the 6th. St. Nicholas was the Bishop of Myra, who was said to go around giving alms to poor people in need. However, he wasn't recognized as a saint until the 800s, and his first feast day was not until the 1200s. There were many stories associated with him and traditions until the Reformation, which took all power away from saints in certain parts of the world. Our modern Saint Nick came to us from the Netherlands, and it is possible that the Yule goat gave rise to our modern tradition of having Krampus go along with him. St. Nicholas and Father Christmas were merged together in the 19th century, and Father Christmas had nothing to do with gift-giving until he was merged with St. Nicholas. While many of the modern North American customs do seem like something that came from Odin, many of the things that we celebrate today were invented by a writer. A Visit from St. Nicholas, or 'Twas the Night Before Christmas, as many people know it as, gave birth to a lot of our modern customs. I mention this because many of the motifs in the poem borrowed from Norse sagas. So all that said, is Santa Odin? If you want to draw your own conclusions, I highly recommend reading the book Stations of the Sun by Professor Ronald Hutton. As well, historian Judith Flanders has just written a book called Christmas, a Biography, which goes through all of this.
Jeez, we've so learned.